Welcome to Lesson 13, where we now play the final 1/3 of the game. Okay, hello again, and now we are going to be starting in the end game. All right, let's go ahead now and take a look at the photo here. All of these tiles from the deal here and approximately to here are on the table. We are now in the end game, which will take us to approximately 33 tiles left in this game. And let's go ahead and get going. Here we are back at the game, and I am being asked if I want to call or ignore the 4 bam. Of course, I don't need it, and I don't need the 7 crack. And at this point, I don't know what Quentin up here is playing. He has no exposures. I am going to take a little bit of a closer look now at discards because we are in the end game. There's 1 7 crack here, and I believe, let me go through it again. 1. It looks like 1. Sometimes I miss them, but it looks like 1. So that I need to get that tile out because there's still 31 tiles. Is almost a full wall of tiles left, and I need to get that 7 crack out if I want a chance at winning. Even if I give somebody Mah Jongg, at this point, it's way too early for me to break up my hand. A little bit later on, when there's less tiles, we'll have to make some strong decisions if we don't Mah Jongg before then. But in the meantime, I'm going to get the 7 crack out. Quentin might need it. He may call it. Let's see what happens.
7 crack. Green.
Nope. All right. Now I can rest until my next tile comes in.
6 bam.
All right. I don't need that, of course. I already have my pung of them up.
Red.
And here is an 8 crack, and it'll be interesting to see whether or not Marjorie was trying to play like numbers. Well, let's see what happens. Again, it's early with 27 tiles left. I'm not going to break up my hand. I mean, it's not early, but it's early in the end game for me to break up my hand or make a decision. So I'm going to take a chance at doing this.
8 crack. Call. 7 dots.
Oh, we have a call, and look at that. Dottie on our left has called the 8 crack, and so we had thought maybe we were trying to figure out earlier what Dottie could be playing, or I don't think we really knew actually. But look who needed the 8 cracks. It's Dottie needed the 8 cracks. So it'll be interesting after the game is over to see what Marjorie is playing if she doesn't Mah Jongg before. All right, well, no jokers up with Dottie's exposures, but with 2s and 8s, it looks like it's line number 1 with a Kong of 2s and a Kong of 8s. Line number 1 under 2, 4, 6, 8. And I do believe that that is the only hand she could be playing. All right, I'm going to ignore. And a 5 crack. I do not need that.
5 crack. North. 6 crack.
I do not need that. Now, if she is playing the first hand under 2, 4, 6, 8, let's look and see, because she needs a single 6 if she's playing that. So there's 1 6 here, 2 here, and there are no other 6s out. She could have everything else. She could have the flowers, the 2s, the 4s and the 8s, and be waiting on that 6. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything else. 1 6 there, and 2 there, and this could be Dottie's Mah Jongg tile. But I want to win. And I'm not giving up on this hand right now. If I give Mah Jongg, I give Mah Jongg. So at this point, I would not break up my hand. Now, if somebody had 3 exposures, I might change my mind, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in just a minute. Let's see what happens. So I'm going to ignore.
9 dots.
Nobody called it. That's good. I can rest. All right, 1 dot. And how many of those have gone out? 1. All right, only one dot I can see on the table. So Quentin could need that, but I'm gonna get it out.
1 dot. 7 crack.
Nope. And there goes another 7 crack.
4 dots.
And guess what? That makes Mahjong. Now, I could call it, but there's this nifty little Mahjong button right here, and that will do the trick. So let's go ahead and hit it. Before I hit it, let's talk about when I would break my hand up. So there are 20 tiles left now, and 20 tiles divided by 20 would be 5 more picks for me. And I would have a good chance with my hand, since I only needed 1 more tile to Mahjong in making it. So I would take a chance in throwing the tiles, but I probably wouldn't do it if I were a couple of picks left, even at 20 tiles, but 20 tiles are left, and I knew that with the picks I had left, the chances of me making Mahjong were very, very slim. Then I would probably just break up my hand, and at that time throw tiles that I knew were pretty safe. And I probably wouldn't break it up and throw 8s, because I still am not convinced what Marjorie's doing. I probably would start throwing the jokers and maybe the 6 spams, or something that I knew that neither of the players that have exposures would need. But in this case, I am going to go ahead and say Mahjong. But yeah, so breaking up your hand all has to do with you having to decide whether or not you have a chance of winning, how many picks are left. Just take the number of tiles left, divide it by 4 in your head, of course. And if you don't have a good chance, you're going to play defensively and break up your hand. If you have a good chance of winning, hey, you could go for it up until the end as far as I'm concerned. If somebody has 3 exposures up, there is a table rule that people play when playing for money in person, and that is that the person that throws the Mahjong tile to somebody with 3 exposures up gets a penalty and actually has to pay for the whole table. And they made this penalty up because it's kind of like a slap on the hand. Hey, why'd you throw that Mahjong tile when that player had 3 exposures and you know very well what they need? Anyway, let's go ahead and get this Mahjong going. And it's going to ask you to confirm it, because if not, your hand will be dead. Well, I'm going to confirm it. On line 3 on the right hand side under 2, 4, 6, 8, I need a pung of 2s. I need a kong of 4s. There's my 4th 4. I need a pung of 6s. There they are, already exposed. And I need a kong of 8s. And so I'm pretty confident that this is Mahjong.
Mahjong.
And there we go. Congratulations. It shows how many points that you earn, and clapping. Isn't that nice? So whistling and clapping. So that's really cool. Okay, so some fun things you can do at the end if you were, toward the end and you wanted to, or if, let's just say you didn't Mahjong and you want to look to see what was on the table. If you missed something, you could open this up and check it out. If you wanted to see how many tiles were remaining and what they were, you could look and you could be like, oh my God, there's my Mahjong tile, the next one down. You could do that. In real life, you don't do that, but on the computer, you could do it. It's kind of fun to do it. All right, so now that we won here, let's look at the other players. All right, we have Dottie here, and it conveniently tells you what hand she was going for. And 2, 4, 6, 8 is what she was going for, and that's the only hand that she could have been playing, as I mentioned. And then we have Marjorie over here, and Marjorie was playing 4, 6, 8. All right, so she was playing 2, 4, 6, 8, and we thought that could be one of the hands that she was playing, but she was far from Mah Jongg, who had her 2 dots. I had her 2 dots. And she had the single 4 and the single 6 covered, but nothing else forming too nicely in her hand. And what about Quentin here? We have 3, 6, 9, and that's line number 2 under 3, 6, 9, which is the 3 suit on the right side of the line for 3, 6, 9. There we have it. And that is, let's see, 3, 6, he was on call. Yep. So he needed 4 flowers and a Kong of 3s in one suit, a pair of 6s in the other, and he had the pair covered, so that was good. And he needed a Kong of 9. So he had enough jokers in the flowers, enough jokers with the 9s and the 3s to call for Mah Jongg, either a flower, a 3 crack, or a 9 bam. It would have given 3 ways he could have Mah Jongg with either a flower, a 3 crack, or a 9 bam could have given him Mah Jongg. And it just so happens that the 1, 6 dot is here, but he had his pairs covered. So that was cool. All right, well, that is the end of lesson 13. I hope you had fun watching this game. And I have made a decision, which is pretty cool, and I'm going to share it with you now. Watching one game isn't quite enough to grasp this challenging game. I'm going to do some bonus videos at the very end, and I'm just going to play through the hands, and I'll do a full video for the entire game. So I'll have several games for you to watch. And when you're completed with all of these lessons and you've watched the videos over and you really feel like you're getting it, you'll be able to join my Wednesday night live streams from 6:30 to 8:30. I'll be putting information in the video description about how to join those. And that's great because I play and people come and just watch me play, and I navigate through the hands one after another, all of my decision making during the Charleston and through the game. And I'll be happy to have you join in on Wednesday evenings in the future. All right, now lesson number 14 is going to sum everything up with reminders and tips for you. So stay tuned for that, and I'll see you in lesson 14.